Hey, and welcome to Internet Roundup. That's Josh Clark, fixing his hair after I mussed it. And I'm Chuck. We do the Stuff You Should Know podcast right here in front of these microphones.
Yep.
Twice a week. But once a week, we invite video into our life.
Yeah, we kick off our shoes and we cut loose.
That's right. Hopefully this episode will be leg cramp free.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that one.
I think I just gave myself one.
Oh, yeah? Karma. You all right? All right.
Karma, wait, what did I do?
Well, you laughed at me yesterday.
I said, are you okay?
We got to use this.
Yeah.
All right. The first story we have for you is about beer, specifically a 220-year-old beer that Australian scientists claim they have resuscitated from the dead.
Yeah, which apparently by using the yeast, there was a shipwreck, right?
There was a shipwreck in 1797 in the Bass Strait, and the ship was called the Sydney Cove.
Mm-hmm. And it went down with its cargo intact.
Mm-hmm.
And some scuba divers said, I'm going to go see what's on this ship. Oh, my God, there's beer.
Right.
And they brought it up, and apparently a museum has been decanting it for years now, right?
I guess they had just had to do it very precisely.
Yeah, and slowly. And they said, you know what? We should take this beer, isolate the yeast, use the yeast to make more beer, and effectively we'll be making beer from this extremely old beer, possibly the oldest beer on the planet.
Yeah, and there's apparently there's something called a yeast specialist.
Right.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
A yeaster, I guess I'll call him.
A yeastress.
A yeastress named Antoine Borneman. And he said, you know what? He said, there's no way it's going to work. Yeast doesn't last longer than 10 years. You're spinning your wheels.
That's what he did.
Yeah, and then he went, and walked out of the room. But DNA analysis revealed that the yeast came to life.
Right, with dream hands.
Yeah.
And it said, let's make some beer, fellas. Hopped into a fermenting vat and went to town.
Hopped in.
Yeah.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's akin to a Trappist ale, which is no surprise because everyone knows that Belgian monks used to make great beer.
Still do. There's Trappist ales around there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Of course. So Mr. I don't think we even said the guy's name. He's a chemist named David Thorogood, which is not spelled like you would think.
No.
Not like George Thorogood.
Right.
This is with 2 R's and a W.
Which really, I mean, that's probably the smarter way to...
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the guy who was all excited about this, though, and he's the one who has made a homebrew now using this yeast.
Yeah. He calls it Preservation Ale after Preservation Island.
Yeah.
Which is where the shipwreck went down, but I don't understand why he didn't call it Bass Ale since it was in the Bass Straits.
I wonder.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Or Budweiser.
That stuff's called America now.
You just poo-pooed your own joke.
I did.
You just went,
Yeah. I wasn't that happy with how it turned out.
I thought it was good. All right, and now we're going to move on to one of my favorite topics, which is perspiration. If you've seen the show or know who I am, you know I'm a well-known sweater. And I've always been this way since I was a little kid.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah?
Even when I was a skinny 10-year-old.
Really?
I sweated and sweated and sweated.
Well, that definitely jibes with this Life Hacker article that you found.
Why some people sweat more than others.
Yeah, apparently the author, Alan Henry, contacted a specialist, a sweating specialist.
Now, he didn't call me.
He said, why specialist? I don't see the person's name in here. I see their last name. Rite? Maybe it's like Cher.
Oh, maybe.
So Ritty, the sweating specialist, said, you know what? I'll bet that you think it has to do with your parents, your genes, chromosomes. You're wrong. Yeah, apparently it all has to do with your early childhood environment, right?
Yeah, and we should point out we're not talking about hyperhidrosis, which is an actual medical condition.
Yeah.
Where you oversweat.
Right.
This is just like me, sweaty guy.
Right.
But yeah, what they think is that, well, not what they think. What they know is you're born with a certain amount of sweat glands. All of us are.
Like more than 20.
Yeah, more than 20. And they mature during the first 2 years of life. Mm-hmm. And if you are raised in cool weather, or if you have a wonderfully air-conditioned home,
right,
then your body is going to say, I don't need all these sweat glands.
Right, and they'll still be there, but
Right.
they just won't be used to producing sweat.
Yeah, they're not switched on.
So when you do ultimately sweat, you'll produce less sweat because you have less sweat glands, right?
Right. Up until the age of 2. And then they say if you grew up in a warm environment, you're going to have more active sweat glands. And as adults, this just carries right on over.
Yeah.
You want to hear something?
Fascinating.
I was raised in Georgia, super hot.
Yeah.
But I also did not get air conditioning in my house till I was a teenager.
Whoa. That proves it. You guys have just seen science conducted right here on your Delta airplane.
We had an attic fan, like the whole house fan, that you open the windows and it draws in air.
Those worked.
No, they're great on coolish evenings.
Right.
But on a hot Georgia summer day.
Dude, it gets hot here.
Yeah, it's bringing in hot, humid air.
Stifling.
So thanks a lot, Mom and Dad.
Are you bitter?
Nah.
Good.
Oh, well, I am, but not for that reason. And he gave some tips if you're a sweaty person. Just throw them out the window. If you're a heavy sweater, you're going to sweat.
Yeah, I think one of them is like wear a cool cloth.
Sip cool water.
Supposedly, people in hot tropics tend to have spicy food because spicy food makes you sweat, which cools you off more easily. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I don't know if that's scientific, but it's at the very least an interesting bit of folklore.
Yeah, well, and there's also it's not just the heat or humidity, like nerves tie into it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I will start to sweat if I'm really nervous about something.
Oh, yeah?
And then, or if I'm in a situation where like, man, it's going to be hot. I'm going to have a suit on. I know I'm going to be sweating. It's a cycle then that happens where I just get even sweatier.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah, from stressing about it. It's awful.
Huh.
It really stinks.
Is that why you sweat on stage, or is it because it's hot?
Both.
So you do get stressed out and nervous still? Because you don't seem to.
Yeah, it's both. It's got to be some underlying nerves under there.
And wearing a suit?
Yeah, I wear a tuxedo on stage.
I'm always telling him not to.
A fur tuxedo.
Yeah.
It's not smart.
Like his Chewbacca suit.
So anyway, fellow sweaters, I'm with you, if that helps, which it doesn't.
I sympathize.
That's why I wear the hat so much. I'm not like wild about hats.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's just, if you have sweaty hair, then you end up looking a mess.
Why don't you just wear a sweatband?
Well, I did in the 70s.
Bring it back.
Every day to school. That's been Internet Roundup for this week. You got anything else?
No.
All right, we'll see you next week right here in the studio.